is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. NSCDC debunks news on donated vehicles. Gunmen killed DPO in Delta State. Tinubu calls for prayers amid hardship. Dangote meets marketers Tuesday. Lebanese troops killed in Israel. Nicki Minaj debunks Haiti's report. Truce Ekong slams Libyan authorities. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps River State Command has condemned in strong terms a misleading information widely circulating on the social media in connection with the 10 operational vehicles donated by the governor of River State, Sir Fubara. Speaking on behalf of the state commandant, Joachim Okafor, at the command headquarters in Port Harcourt, the command spokesman, Superintendent Olufemi Ayodele, said in tandem with the usual tradition of the service commanders paying courtesy call to the chief security officer of the state, the new state commandant did same upon resumption of office and tendered his achievements and the challenges faced by the command. However, the command got flabbergasted by various unfounded and denigrating news currently circulating on the social media, arrogating the donation of operational vehicles as gratification and compensation for participating in the just concluded local government elections. To set the record straight, Commandant Joachim Okafor was recently deployed as a 15th substantive River State Commandant by the NSCDC Commandant General Dr. Ahmed Abubakar Audi, OFR, based on his pedigree of diligent service and track record of numerous excellent achievements as head of anti-vandal squad in Kano State. River State and Commandant of Niger State, where the command under his watch got the donations of 20 operational vehicles from the Niger State Governor. The River State Command is hereby stating unequivocally that the vehicles were not donated for elections, neither were there compensations for participating in the local government elections, but to enhance the command's land operational patrol like every other security agencies. He said the NSCDC remains neutral, apolitical and non-partisan in matters of election, but sincerely committed to actualizing its core mandate by combating vandalism of public utilities and swift response to rescue victims during emergency. Away from that, analysts believe in having relative arguments in disagreement. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, political analyst Nze Ounze believes that parties should give room for different perspectives, adding that the claims by the LP chairmanship candidate Prince Chioma Chinwo on undemocratic conduct during the exercise were not out of place.
From our perspective, the way I see things may be different from the way you see it, and if we must stand on the truth, we should allow relative agreement within our differences. And this coming from the Labour Party chairmanship candidate of Faga, it's not something different from what we've been seeing. Although we monitored that election that day, and we saw from different polling units, different local governments, different wards, people were voting and all that. So the claims of Chioma Chinwo is not out of place, and
Meanwhile, analyst Ojo Jackson believes that it is the norm in the political sphere of Nigeria where corruption rules for the ruling party to win all the LG positions.
Been living in the country, maybe you just returned from the Great Britain or from America, where things are done properly, things are done normally. You understand? He may not understand the norm of our political electioneering system in Nigeria. The norm, because it's lawlessness, and they are turning it to become the norm. It is now a normal thing, which is not strange or new or surprise to many of us in this country. That same day, election was held in about 3 states. I think Benue State, Akwa Ibom State. Benue State, the ruling party there clear all, and in Plateau State too. The ruling party there clear all the councillorship and all
the chairmanship positions.
Yes, but
Chairmanship candidates of the Labour Party in the just concluded October 5th, 2024 local government election in the Port Harcourt City local government area of Rivers State, Prince Chioma Chinwo, has alleged undemocratic conduct during the exercise. The Regional Police Officer of Abaho Police Station in Ughelli North Local Government Area of Delta State was ambushed and killed on Sunday night. Delta Police Command confirmed the incident to newsmen on Monday. Spokesman of the command, SP Bright Idafe, said it is confirmed the DPO Abaho was killed and the Ororpo DPO was injured. It was an ambush. The DPO was said to have resumed at the station just a few days ago. According to sources, the DPO with his Ororpo counterpart CSP Paul and the men were ambushed around 1 a.m. at Owodupokupo, the rail station axis of the town, while on their way for an operation. It was learned that the Ororpo DPO was rushed to an undisclosed hospital in critical condition. Gunmen suspected to be armed robbers shot and injured a 22-year-old man, Goodluck Joe, in Mosoga community, Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State. It was reported that the incident occurred while the victim was on his way home when the gunmen accosted, shot and seriously injured him along Otubu Church Road, Mosoga. The attackers also stole his mobile phone and left him in a pool of his own blood. Goodluck was rushed to the Delta State University Teaching Hospital, Ogara. Medical scans revealed that he was suffering from internal bleeding. The victim is currently fighting for his life. At the time of this report, the victim's relative, identified as Voltage Babano, expressed gratitude to everyone for the support and prayers during the difficult time. He also appealed to the public for financial assistance to help cover the victim's substantial medical bills. The Delta State Police Command Public Relations Officer, SP Bright Idafe, has yet to respond to confirm the incident. Away from that, residents of Okong Estate in Ifa Atai Etor area of Uyo, the capital of Akwa Ibom State, are counting their losses after armed robbers made off with millions of naira in cash and other valuables. The assailants reportedly invaded the estate around 2 a.m. on Monday, conducting house-to-house attacks that left many residents injured. Among the injured were a married woman, Mrs. Basi, and a night guard identified only as Victor, who suffered bullet wounds and machete cuts to the head, respectively. Other injured residents were taken to the hospital for treatment. Dr. Isima Andi, chairman of the Landlords Association, stated that the robbers struck at 2 a.m. and confirmed that the incident had been reported to the Shelter Afri police station. He added that the stolen items included laptops, undisclosed amount of cash, mobile phones, and iPads. The police public relations officer, ASP Timfon John, denied that the police did not respond to distress calls. She said the police had increased patrols of the area by posting more men to some black spots, adding that the command was doing everything possible to ensure safety for all. Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party said he has filed a petition at the tribunal challenging the conduct of the last September 21st, 2024 governorship election in the state. State chairman of the party, Dr. Anthony Ezebemi, disclosed this at a press conference in Benin City. Ezebemi said the petition filed by the party's governorship candidate, Asue Igodalo, was against all alleged odds by the All Progressives Congress in connivance with the Independent National Electoral Commission to deny the party to have access and inspect all the electoral materials used for the elections. He alleged that APC and INEC prevented them from inspecting the electoral materials despite the tribunal's order to grant its leave to inspect the materials. He, however, alleged that the party's intelligence unit have uncovered plans by the APC to burn INEC office, noting that they are alerting the security agencies of the plan. He also alleged that in spite of INEC's feeble attempt to deny the party's full complement of his request for a certified true copy of all electoral materials, being the suspected political wing of the APC, they were still able to do the needful by filing the petition at the tribunal. Less than 1 month before the end of his administration, members of the Edo State House of Assembly have confirmed Governor Godwin Obaseke's nominees for the State Civil Service Commission. The House confirmed the 5-member nominees at the plenary session on Monday. The nominees were read at the House's plenary on October 2nd, 2024 by the Speaker of the House, Blessing Abebaku. Recall that Governor Godwin Obaseke-led administration will end on November 12, 2024, and the new administration to be led by Senator Monday Obebolo, a member of the All Progressive Congress, APC, will be sworn in as the new governor of the state. The confirmed nominees are Igodalo Lala Aliyu as chairman, Ehi Obaseke Gilbert Adeboyega, Julie Olatunji and Margaret Ohiwele as members respectively. Meanwhile, the House has passed a bill for a law to establish Edo State Digital Governance and Data Management Agency. The newly elected president of the Edo State chapter of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees, Comrade Clifford Daudu, has threatened an industrial action in the 18 local government areas of the state if by the end of October, the salary arrears and statutory deductions of workers were not paid. To avoid this, he called on all local government chairmen in the state to immediately pay salary arrears and the unremitted statutory deductions to their workers without further delay. Daudu, who stated this in an interaction with journalists in Benin City, said local government council workers in Edo State are owed salaries spanning from 2017 to 2023, a situation he said has caused undue hardship for the workers. He also berated the council's management for the unremitted statutory deductions from workers' salary, which he said was in several millions of naira. According to Comrade Daudu, the NULGE wrote a series of letters to the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, the umbrella association of all the chairmen, which culminated in a meeting between the two associations, and he said it was agreed that they would start to defray both the salary and deduction arrears from June 2024, but as at October 2024, the councils are yet to honor their words, despite several reminders from the union. He warned that the union would not hesitate to mobilize its members for a total shutdown of the councils by the end of October if our demands for the payments are not met. Away from that, Inter-Party Advisory Council has condemned the police assault on the Young Progressive Party councillorship candidate for Otolo Ward 1, Nnewi North Local Government area. Okonkwo Onyemobi Kenneth during the recent Anambra State local government election. IPAC described the unprovoked attack on the lawmaker, including the use of tear gas to subdue him, as outrageous, barbaric and despicable. IPAC said in a statement signed by Chinyere Kalu, National Publicity Secretary, said it is more pathetic as the candidate is living with disability and was in the polling unit to exercise his franchise. The statement said IPAC would take up this matter to ensure justice is served. Council has been in the vanguard for free, fair, credible, transparent, inclusive and peaceful elections. Stakeholders in the electoral process should demonstrate patriotism and respect the mandate of the people, adding that this is the only way we will deepen and consolidate the nation's emerging democracy. Two-story building has collapsed on Amisu Street in Orile, Igamu area of Lagos. The building collapsed on Monday as people were about to start their business activities for the day. It could not be ascertained the number of people in the building when it collapsed. However, a statement by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency response team said no casualties were recorded during the incident. Lagos High Court in Ikeja has scheduled December 10, 2024 for judgment in the 1.06 billion naira fundamental human rights enforcement suit filed by Mr. Stephen Amos and his wife Doris against the Lagos State government and others over the disappearances of their mentally challenged son, Kingsley Amos, 14 years old. The lawsuit names the Lagos State government, the Attorney General of Lagos State, the Lagos State Ministry of Youth and Social Development, the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, and the Inspector General of Police as respondents. The applicants are Mr. Stephen Amos, his wife Doris, and their missing son Kingsley. Justice L.A.F. Oluyemi fixed the judgment date following the respondent's failure to defend the matter since it was filed and served. The suit centers on alleged illegal arrest, detention, and possible death of Kingsley Amos, who disappeared after being taken into custody by Lagos State agents in 2010. The Amos family, represented by their counsel Eze Alala, argued that Kingsley was undergoing treatment for mental illness, was taken without their knowledge during a raid by the Lagos State authorities in the Ojodu area. He was later found at the Majudin Rehabilitation Center, but on April 14, 2010, officials informed the family that Kingsley, along with others, had been transferred to an undisclosed location. Kingsley has not been seen since then. The Amos family has expressed deep frustration with the lack of transparency and accountability from the Lagos State government and police, stating that the incident has subjected them to years of anguish. On to the next, Independent National Electoral Commission said eligible voters in Ondo State will start collecting their permanent voters card from Thursday. INEC National Commissioner and Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumekun, disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Abuja. According to him, a total of 89,777 new PVCs from the recent CVR were printed. This is made up of 58,708 new voters and 31,069 applicants for transfers, updates, and replacements of lost and damaged PVCs. During the period, the backlog of uncollected PVCs from previous registrations will also be available for collection at the designated centers. The Commission reiterates its policy that no cards will be collected by proxy. Secretary to the Ogun State Government, Talabiu Olakumbo, has denied involvement in the arrest of the All Progressive Congress youth leader for Ijebu-Ode local government area and a member of National Union of Road Transport Workers, Babatunde Aremu. Aremu was said to have been picked up by the operatives of the Department of State Security Service on Sunday in Ijebu-Ode on alleged account of planning to stage a protest today over the crisis rocking the NURTW in the state. A video circulating on Monday showed some people suspected to be security personnel in two unmarked white Hilux vehicles shooting, apparently to scare people away. Talabi, however, in a statement signed by him on Monday, said he knew nothing about the incident. He urged the security agencies to ensure transparency in their investigation and provide clear explanations for the circumstances surrounding Aremu's arrest. Not fewer than 6 persons died and several injured in an accident involving a trailer conveying ties and a lorry loaded with soft drinks on Monday at Oke Elishin, Amulokun along Akaran Road, Ibadan. Among the injured was a people whose mother reportedly died in the crash. 4 of the injured who were conveyed to the Amoloku City Hospital nearby included 2 primary school children treated as outpatients, while 2 with severe injuries have been admitted for proper treatment. The dead were conveyed to a hospital that was not yet ascertained. A staff of the Oyo Road Transport Maintenance Agency who spoke on a condition of anonymity at the scene said the incident occurred in the early hours of today. It was caused by brake failure of the trailer that was descending the slope of the road. The accident caused a serious gridlock with passengers alighting and trekking. Many parked their vehicles by the roadside, pending when security operatives would clear the vehicles from the road. When contacted, the commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission, Oyo Command, Mrs. Rosemary Allo, confirmed the accident but said she would officially confirm when her men brief her appropriately. In Kogi State, the state government has again called on the federal government and international donor agencies to come to the aid of the state as flood sacks over 200 communities. Addressing newsmen at Koton Cafe, Kogi local government, Monday, the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Fanwo, said a major humanitarian crisis is brewing in the state as close to 2 million people are currently homeless. He said the National Emergency Management Agency cannot afford to wait any longer as the state is already overwhelmed. Fanwo said the state government had earlier set up a flood disaster response team under the leadership of the Deputy Governor of the state, assuring the victims of the government support in the face of the natural disaster. Kogi, Lokoja, Adavi, Ofu, Ajaokuta, Ida, Abaji, and some of the affected local government areas. Away from that, Minister of Tourism Lola Adejohn has said that her ministry is collaborating with the Ministry of Education to include history and tourism into the primary school curriculum. The minister is insisting that insecurity bedeviling the country has greatly affected the tourism sector of the country, which has stressed that should be Nigeria's #1 revenue generator, surpassing oil and gas. The minister stated this when paying a courtesy visit to Taraba State Deputy Governor Aminu Alkali. The minister's visit is to explore collaboration between the state and federal government and investors. The visit is also aimed at harnessing the tourism potential in Taraba investment opportunities in resorts and leveraging domestic tourism for community empowerment. Earlier in his remarks, the State Commissioner for Heritage and Ecotourism, Joseph Nagombe, emphasized that the minister is doing everything possible to right the wrong of the sector. Away from that, Federal High Court sitting in Kano State has sentenced 33-year-old Nasiru Issa to 7 years in the correctional center for sexually exploiting an 11-year-old girl. The presiding justice, S.M. Shaibu, convicted Issa, who resides in Damanawa Bayan Gidan Kolo of Tarini local government area of the state, on a one-count charge of sexual exploitation. Shaibu summarily tried and sentenced the defendant after he pleaded guilty to the charge. He held that the prosecution counsel Abdullahi Babale proved his case beyond reasonable doubt and consequently sentenced the defendant to 7 years without an option of fine. According to him, the convict is to pay an additional 1 million naira fine as compensation. Earlier, the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Kano State Command, alleged that the defendant committed the offense at Damanawa Quarters, Tarani local government area of Kano State on October 5th. Away from that, Department of State Services released 2 NBAT governance protesters who have been in detention in Kaduna. At press time, there are not fewer than 125 protesters still in detention, including 38 remanded by Justice Emeka Wite in Abuja. ATN gathered that the 38 detained protesters would appear before Justice Wite for further hearing on their trial. The 125 detained protesters have been in custody for over 62 days. Meanwhile, Mr. Deji Adeyanju, counsel to the protesters in an exclusive chat with newsmen yesterday, expressed concerns over the lack of transparency in the judicial process. According to Adeyanju, authorities claim to have filed charges, but our team has yet to receive any documents. He stated that the development highlights the inconsistencies in the handling of protest-related cases nationwide, though most of the 873 protesters arrested in Kano have been released due to collaborative efforts by the Nigerian Bar Association. Ibrahim Daji, a notorious bandit leader, has been killed in Kwana Nasi, Gusau local government area of Zamfara state. Zagazola Makama, a publication that focuses on counterinsurgency in the Lake Chad region, reported that Daji was killed on Sunday by members of a rival faction. His body was reportedly left at the scene. Daji was widely known for his involvement in various criminal activities, including leading violent attacks along the Kwata, Kwashi, Mada Road and surrounding areas. His stronghold was in Shangel village, located in the east of Madan town. The bandit kingpin was also infamous for reportedly purchasing kidnapped victims within Gusau, a practice that strengthened his influence over the region's criminal networks. In addition to his attacks, he was said to have provided refuge to other criminals such as Bello Tagoje in his Shangel village residence. Known to command a significant following, Daji's death is seen as a major breakthrough in the fight against banditry in Zamfara state. He was regarded as a key figure in the region's network of armed criminals. Still in Zamfara State, Independent Electoral Commission has fixed November 16, 2024 for the local government election in the state. The new chairman of the commission, Bala Aliyu Gusau, who was earlier today sworn in by the State Chief Judge Justice Kulu Aliyu, represented by Mukhtar Yashau of the Zamfara State High Court of the Council Chamber of the Government House, Gusau, announced this while addressing journalists on the preparation ahead of the conduct of the local council poll. He also disclosed that the sale and return of expression of interest forms would commence on 25th October 2024 to 1st November. The chairman said the commission is acting in line with law number 4 of the Zamfara State Independent Electoral Commission, and it will keep the public posted on any other development regarding the local government council poll. You are watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this break. Global News and Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has asked the Methodist Church in Nigeria to remain steadfast in prayers for their communities, the nation and their leaders, saying that their prayers remain a source of strength and guidance. President Tinubu said this during the 40th anniversary celebration church service of the Abuja Archdiocese of the Methodist Church held at the Methodist Cathedral of Unity, Wuse Zone 5 on Sunday. Represented by the FCT Minister Yesom Wike, the President urged Nigerians to remain steadfast in your commitment to prayers, not just for your communities, but for your beloved Nigeria and its leaders. The President also called on the Church to continue its work of service, outreach, and mission of compassion, and to work hand in hand with the government, following the tenets of the Renewed Hope Agenda, to help create a Nigeria that will meet the collective aspirations of the citizenry. According to the President, the challenges confronting Nigeria today requires a united front. He also commended the Methodist Church for its contribution to nation building over the years through social justice, education, and humanitarian outreach. The federal government has assured Nigerians of better days ahead as it enacts policies aimed at revamping the nation's economy. After coming to power last year, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu brought in reforms bills as a way to revive the economy and attract foreign investment. However, Nigerians have seen fuel prices soar and inflation hit a 3-decade high since Tinubu ended the fuel subsidy and floated the naira currency. Speaking at the 30th anniversary of the Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagadu, assured Nigerians that despite the hardship in the land, there would be light at the end of the tunnel. According to the minister, Nigeria's external trade balance improved slightly in Q2 2024, which shows the efficacy of the reforms of the current administration. On to the next, Presidency has directed the head of service of the Federation, Didi Esther Walson-Jack, and the heads of ministries, departments, and agencies to comply with Senate invitations, emphasizing the importance of cooperation between government bodies and the National Assembly. Addressing journalists in Abuja on Monday, Senator Bashir Lado, special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Senate matters, criticized some agencies for failing to respond to Senate summons. Lado stressed that engaging with Senate committees is crucial for demonstrating public service dedication and reinforcing confidence in the government. According to Senator Lado, honoring Senate invitations aligns with both constitutional obligations of President Tinubu's vision for a responsive, accountable, and effective government. He noted that his directive supports Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda aimed at delivering rapid and transformative government to Nigerians. The presidency's call comes a day after the Senate announced its decision to issue warrants of arrest for certain agency heads, including Mrs. Walson-Jack, Works Minister David Umahi, and NINCOM Chairman Abike Dabiru Erewa for repeatedly failing to appear before the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges, and Public Petitions. Analyst has opined that when it comes to important roles and positions that pertain to African continent in organizations like the UN, Nigeria should be at the forefront. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Atlantic Blowout, socio-political analyst Ambassador Ekiye C. Ekiu asked that Nigeria as a major African country be given prerogative in organizations that influence the policy makings of the African continent.
But I think for a country like Nigeria, which supposedly is a major country, because I don't hear people say the giant of Africa anymore because of so many things going on. So I don't want to use that word for now. That's supposed to be a major stakeholder in the United Nations when it has to do with human rights. Your population is high. So many countries in Africa tend to look towards Nigeria before. I don't know whether now anymore. But if that is the case, I think if it is 2, 3, 4, 5 seats, Nigeria, who is a major country in the continent of Africa, I think should be given a very prerogative space to say, okay, at least if it is 3 or 4 positions for Africa, Nigeria should always have one, because it's a strength of Africa, it's a major voice for the African nations. But
on the other hand, the analyst believes that if Nigeria is denied the opportunity, other African countries should be given the opportunity, adding that it will help strengthen relationships within the continent.
So if Nigerians feel that they do not have a reason, but their reason is that they want to strengthen the regions in Africa so that other countries will not feel that Nigeria is always monopolizing, is always dominating. So I'm sure there have been a kind of a negotiation among the leaders within the countries of Africa. So if we didn't get it now, maybe some.
This comes as a President Islam naysayers who allege that Nigeria lost out in the recent United Nations Human Rights Council elections. Speaker of House of Representatives Honorable Abbas Tajuddin has called for the implementation of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act 2018 by ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, who, according to Honorable Abbas, have vehemently refused to align towards implementation of the act. Speaker, who was represented by the House Majority Leader, Honorable Julius Ihobere, at the investigative hearing over non-implementation of the PWD's Act by MDAs, complained that not even 5% of the persons with disabilities is implemented, and that when the Act undergoes amendment, 1-year sentence should be enforced for non-compliance. Chairman of the House Committee on Disability Matters, Honorable Bashiru Dawoda, said the inquiry will look into ensuring that PWDs have access to employment in MDAs, inclusion in politics, access to public buildings, and inclusion of sign language in media houses. Disability Matters Chairman, Executive Secretary, National Commission for Persons with Disability, Ayuba Muftuang, while expressing concerns over the total disregard and nonchalant attitudes toward PWD's welfare, proposed that amendment to the Persons with Disabilities Act 2018 should capture the over 35.5 million PWDs in Nigeria, as well as other benefits, to ensure that PWDs receive trainings, get MSMEs grants, access to education, amongst others. Executive Sec, National Commission for PWDs, Ayuba Muftang. Away from that, federal government said he has okayed the use of restorative justice system in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It said the new justice system will focus on addressing the plight of victims of crime instead of merely punishing the offenders. Director, Public Prosecution of the Federation, Mohammed Abubakar, in a keynote address he presented at the opening session of a 2-day workshop for facilitators and implementation of restorative justice in the FCT, said the system would help to decongest the prisons. According to him, the system, which is an alternative for the formal court procedure, is a paradigm shift that would not only ensure speedy resolution of cases, but also enhance the process of repair, resolution, and reintegration. In his remarks, a representative of the traditional rulers in the FCT, the Etsu of Kwali, His Royal Highness Luka Ayedu, while commending FG for the initiative, stressed that it should be replicated across the Federation. He bemoaned the fact that most correctional centers in the country are overcrowded, saying that for restorative justice system to achieve its purpose, traditional rulers and heads of communities must be carried along. On her part, the Director, Administration of Criminal Justice and Reform Department, Federal Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Letitia Ayola Daniels, said the new system, which she described as a progressive reform, offers an inclusive approach that seeks to heal rather than simply punish. On to the next, People's Democratic Party has provided more insight into the crisis rocking the main opposition party. PDP has been divided into two factions, with suspensions and counter-suspensions of its officials in the recent days making the headlines. In a press briefing by the PDP Acting National Publicity Secretary Ibrahim Abdullahi Manga in Abuja on Monday, the party called for caution among members of the National Working Committee. Speaking on the ongoing imbroglio, Manga frowned at the act of vituperation against the party's corporate existence, saying it is nothing but condemnable. He explained that the reason for NWC's decision to temporarily suspend the National Publicity Secretary Debo Olubanga and the National Legal Advisor Kamadin Ajibade was to allow the four-man NWC investigation committee set up under the chairmanship of the Deputy National Chairman, South, His Royal Ambassador Tafuk Arapaja, to freely investigate the allegations of abuse of office and insubordination levied against the duo. He called for restraint in the interest of the party, saying it is a major opposition party in Nigeria and the hope of Nigerians for a better tomorrow in view of APC strangulating inept and clueless government nationwide. Federal government has summoned the Libyan charge the affairs in Abuja over the alleged mistreatment of the Super Eagles players and officials during their stay in Libya for AFCON qualifiers. Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga disclosed these to journalists after a meeting with the Vice President Kashim Shettima at the presidential villa in Abuja. Tuga described the situation in Libya as unfortunate, urging the Nigerian officials from the country's mission in Libya have been dispatched to engage with the Super Eagles delegation. Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has lamented the persistent incidents of killings, kidnappings and other violent crimes across the country. In a post via his ex-handle, Obi lamented the killing of some crew members of Super Sports TV, as well as a policeman who were attacked in a tragic ambush along the Ihiala-Olu Road, Anambra State, a few days ago. The deceased were traveling to cover the Super Eagles 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers against Libya. The former Anambra State governor, who said that the situation has continued unabated and is worse by the day, stressed that one state actors have continued to inflict pain and sorrow on families whose loved ones are often kidnapped and sometimes killed in gruesome manners. Director General of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, Professor Mishola Adeyeye, has dismissed the claims made by aggrieved workers at the basis for their industrial action, describing them as the management has been attentive to the workers' welfare. It is limited by its mandate in the matters such as promotions and certain remuneration. In a statement on Monday by the agency's resident media consultant, Shayo Akintola, the DG, however, reiterated a commitment to the workers' welfare. The workers have not called off the one-week-old industrial actions as their demands remain unmet, although it was gathered that negotiations to the end strike are ongoing. The workers are protesting the agency's failure to promote a significant number of staff who participated in the 2024 promotion interviews. According to the aggrieved workers, despite many of them meeting or surpassing the required pass mark, NAFDAC management cited a lack of vacancies, leaving more than 500 eligible employees without a promotion they had earned. Former acting Accountant General of the Federation, Anamekwe Wabuku, has entered a plea bargain agreement with the EFCC over the alleged 1.6 billion naira fraud. EFCC's counsel, Ogechi Ujam, informed Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday. When the matter was called, Ujam told the court that on the last joint date, Waboku and his co-defendant Felix Weke had submitted a proposal for settlement. Justice Omotosho subsequently adjourned the matter until December 2nd for adoption of a plea bargain agreement. The agency has preferred an 11-count money laundering charge against the duo. Waboku and Weke, a former deputy director in the Ministry of Defense, are being prosecuted for alleged money laundering offenses. Waboku is the first defendant in the charge filed May 27 by Ekele Ihanacho. Weke is the second defendant. They were alleged to have perpetrated the act while Waboku served as the Director of Finance and Accounts in the Ministry of Defense between 2019 and 2021. Here now is ATM Business News. Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria is poised for talks with Dangote Petroleum Refinery between Tuesday and Wednesday to finalize agreements on the cost and lifting of petrol from the plant. Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria has been asked by the $20 billion Lekki-based refinery to rescind the request of petrol lifting. This came as Petron expressed optimism that the cost of petrol might reduce in the coming days since the competition in the downstream in fully as marketers load the commodity from the refinery. Meanwhile, Ipman described the planned agreement with the Dangote refinery as a crucial step in the association's ongoing petroleum products, thereby contributing to the stability and efficiency of the country's fuel supply chain. Last week, the federal government granted permission to petroleum marketers to lift petrol directly from the Dangote refinery without going through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. The Minister of Finance and Chairman of the National Naira Crude Sale Implementation Committee, Wale Edu, had in a statement said, moving forward, petroleum product marketers are now able to purchase PMS directly from local refineries without the intermediary role of NNPC. Providing an update, the National Publicity Secretary of Ipman, Chinedu Ukadike, said the association hoped to meet with officials of the Dangote refinery for discussion as it is ready to commence a healthy business relationship with the refinery. National Assembly is considering a bill proposing an increase in the value-added tax from 7.5% to 10%. In the executive bill, the National Assembly intends raising the tax rate to 10% by 2025. The legislature also intends to increase the VAT to 12.5% by 2026 through 2029, according to the document. Recall that on May 8, 2024, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Mr. Taiwo Ayodele, had said the VAT rate needs to be increased. Meanwhile, the bill also proposes a reduction in the corporate income tax to 27.5% by 2025, down from 30% and a further to 25% by 2026. Away from that, the Federal Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology has launched a 10-year roadmap aimed at transforming Nigeria's raw material sector with a target of achieving 60% value addition by 2034. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Chief Uche Geoffrey Naji, made the announcement at a program presentation and dialogue session with development partners, the diplomatic community and business councils in Abuja. Naji emphasized the importance of improving the value of Nigeria's raw materials before export, citing benefits such as job creation, domestic manufacturing growth, and a strengthened Naira. According to him, the 10-year roadmap developed in collaboration with the African Development Bank outlines key strategic interventions. This includes building critical capacity in circulatory and responsive repurposing to ensure efficient raw material utilization and reduce waste. Additionally, the plan aims to develop relevant databases management information systems to provide researchers, investors, and industry leaders with access to real-time data. Now to international tidbits. 4 soldiers from the Lebanese army have died in the conflict between the Hezbollah militia and Israel. Also, 12 other Lebanese soldiers have been killed while not on duty. The Lebanese army said 2 soldiers were recently killed by Israeli fire while on duty at a military post in Kafra, a town in the southern part of the country. Lebanon's military was seen as weak and under-resourced, which was not directly involved in the conflict between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah. It has partially withdrawn from positions along the country's southern border with Israel since the Israeli ground offensive began 2 weeks ago. The army, however, returned fire when one of the bases in Butte in the south came under Israeli attack. Away from doubt, elsewhere, about 19 Palestinians were killed and dozens of others injured in Israeli shelling on the school housing displaced persons in the Nuseirat refugee camp of the central Gaza Strip. Palestinian sources who were eyewitnesses reported that Israeli artillery were fired on the Al-Muftin school, which houses dozens of displaced families in the northern Nuseirat camp. The ambulance crew and civil defense unit quickly arrived at the targeted site, that said. They added that flashlight beams and mobile phones lights pierced the darkness caused by a power outage as rescue workers worked to transport the injured. Paramedics said the rescue team recovered 19 bodies and around 80 injured people, including children and women, and transported them to hospitals in central Gaza. 5 children were also killed by the Israeli army in the west of Al-Shati camp of northern Gaza, the Palestinian local medical reported. The Israeli military has not yet commented on these attacks. South Korea's military says it is fully ready to respond after North Korea ordered troops on the border to prepare to fire in a dispute over drone flights to Pyongyang. The nuclear-aimed North has accused Seoul of flying drones over its capital to drop propaganda leaflets filled with inflammatory rumors and rubbish, and warned that it would consider it a declaration of war if another drone was detected. Seoul's military initially denied it was behind the flight, with local speculation centered on activist groups in the south that have long sent propaganda and U.S. currency northwards, typically by balloon. But the North insists Seoul is officially to blame, announcing that it had told 8 artillery brigades already on war footing to get fully ready to open fire, and also reinforce air observation posts in Pyongyang. Pyongyang claims propaganda drones have infiltrated the capital's airspace 3 times in recent days, with leader Kim Jong-un's powerful sister threatening a horrible disaster unless they stop. Kim Jong said in a statement on Monday that the drone flights were an unpardonable malicious challenge to our state. Decapitated bodies of 5 men have been discovered near a road in central Mexico in a region dominated by powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel. The grisly find was reported by drivers who spotted plastic bags containing human remains near the town of Ojelos, Jalisco. Local police and forensic experts quickly arrived on the scene to investigate and identify the victims. The Jalisco State Prosecutor's Office confirmed that the remains were wrapped in black plastic body bags. National Guard troops also secured the area. So far, authorities have been unable to determine the ages or identities of the victims. Officials have stated that the brutality of the killings and the public display of the bodies point to involvement from organized crime groups, likely tied to ongoing cartel violence in the region. The state of Jalisco has been particularly hard hit by cartel-related violence, with 1,450 recorded murders between January and September 2024, according to official figures. Mexico overall continues to struggle with rampant violence, with more than 30,000 homicides reported annually, making it one of the most violent countries in the world. President Claudia Sheinbaum, sworn in last week, has pledged to avoid the heavy materialization seen in previous administration, instead of focusing on intelligence gathering and addressing the root causes of violence. And now, entertainment news. Famous rapper Nicki Minaj has debunked viral reports that she's embarking on a sabbatical. Reacting, Minaj clarified that she wasn't taking a break from music. Nicki Minaj has previously taken a break from music. In December 2019, she announced on her ex that she was retiring from music to concentrate on having a family. She made the announcement after 2 months of a marriage with boyfriend Kenneth Petty. Minaj gave birth to her son on September 30, 2022. She has since returned to touring. Here now is ATN Sports News. Super Eagles captain William Troost Ekong has condemned the treatment of Nigerian senior men's national football team after they were stranded for over 12 hours at Al-Abag airport in Libya. The team was originally scheduled to land in Benghazi ahead of their 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers, but was redirected to Al-Abag, where they have been held without explanation. In a series of tweets on Monday, Troost Ekong described the situation as disgraceful, accusing the Libyan authorities of playing mind games. He revealed that the team is being kept in an abandoned airport with no access to food, drink, or phone connections. Troost Ekong also mentioned the difficulties faced by the Tunisian pilots who managed the unexpected change in destination but was subsequently refused accommodation for his crew under government orders. While the pilots could rest at the airport, Nigerian crew members were not allowed to stay, forcing them to sleep on the plane. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Owan-Eno, has strongly condemned the recent actions of Libyan authorities who held the Nigerian Super Eagles and their officials hostage at Al-Bag Airport. This incident occurred after the Nigerian aircraft, originally en route to Benghazi, was diverted to another city over a 2-hour drive from the intended destination, just an hour before landing. This diversion caused significant distress to the Super Eagles team, officials and support staff who were left stranded and subjected to unnecessary delays. The Honorable Minister expressed deep concern over the poor treatment of the team, particularly as they were in Libya for an international engagement. Nigeria remains committed to strengthening international relations through sports, but will not shy away from defending the rights and dignity of its athletes and officials when they are unfairly treated. The minister expressed his gratitude to the Nigerian public for their patience and support during this challenging time and reassured everyone that every necessary measure is being taken to bring Super Eagles safely to their destination. Confederation of African Football has reacted to the situation involving the Super Eagles of Nigeria being left stranded at the Al-Abag airport in Libya. In a statement on Monday, CAF described the long-hour delay experienced by the Super Eagles players and coaches at the Libyan airport as disturbing and unacceptable. The African Football Governing Board noted that the matter has been referred to its disciplinary committee for appropriate action. Nigerian-born bodybuilder representing the United Kingdom, Samson Dauda, has won the 2024 Olympia. Dauda made history as the first bodybuilder of Nigeria descent to win Mr. Olympia competition. Mr. Olympia is a yearly international bodybuilding competition by professionals. The 60th edition of the Mr. Olympia contest took place on Saturday, October 12th at the 2024 Olympia weekend in Las Vegas Convention Center in Nevada, United States. He urged out 17 competitors, including 2 former champions, Derek Lusford of the USA and Heidi Chopin of Iran. While Heidi Chopin takes the runner-up spot, the 2022 champion, Derek Lusford, secured the 3rd position. As a competition winner, Dauda goes home with a cash prize of $600,000 championship belt and trophy. Andrew Jack, another Nigerian who also took part in the competition, finished 5th. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. We're told you that NSCDC debunks news on donated vehicles. Government killed DPO in Delta State. We also told you Tinubu calls for prayers amid hardship. Dangote meets Makatas. Tuesday, Lebanese troops killed in Israel. Nicki Minaj debunks Haiti's report. And lastly, that Troost Ekong slams Libyan authorities. I am Wendy Aguma. Thank you for watching and good evening.